Yo, Hurt, I'm gonna start my car. You wanna come give me a hand with the fire extinguisher just in case it's needed? Welcome back, Carcaine Rehab. So, what are we doing today? Well, today we're gonna get the Audi running. It's goal one. We tried to last time, but hit a bunch of hiccups. So today we're gonna do it somehow. Come hook or crook, it's gonna get done. Last time, thought we were gonna get it done, but unfortunately ran into a major problem with the fuel system.
That's nice and gunky.
Not realizing how much damage over a decade of ethanol sitting in a gas tank will just eat and destroy absolutely everything. All right, so here's what we need to do today. We've got a fuel system overhaul, right? One, gotta just replace the tank, put that in. Build a new feed line, because that's completely destroyed. 3, repair the vent and return lines, because those have been patched and they're kind of hacked together. I'm gonna mod the cradle that holds the factory pump to actually put in a Bosch 044. Any of you who've ever built big power cars should know what an 044 is. Pushes a lot of gas. Then I also need to build a new wiring harness for the fuel pump because that deteriorated and fell apart when I took apart the last one. Add some fresh gas and then try to start the car. So I get back over to this list, which as you can see, I checked most of that off already. So all we need to do is install a battery after we're done with this and get that thing started. At the end of last episode, I thought that I was gonna go the fuel cell route, and I really wanted to because at the end of the day, this is supposed to be a race car. But the more I started thinking about it, the system that I need to build for a 400, 500 horsepower car versus the system I need to just make my 161 horsepower 20 valve run is quite different, and also where I want to run the fuel system, because I will have a cage. I'm going to put the fuel tank farther forward in the car, so it didn't really make as much sense as I thought. And someone local had an extra fuel cell. Or fuel tank, I should say. Got this one from a guy named Greg, who actually lives right here in Long Beach. Greg, thank you very much. And Greg also has a really sweet V8 Coupe Quattro. As you can see, this one, nice and clean inside. This one, not so much. Actually, let's show you what's living at the bottom of this. That's just what's at the bottom of the tank. So, yeah. I also got a few extra parts over here. This was what was in here. In my tank, as you can see, there's just like kind of layers of everything on it. The wires that were in there have no, oh, that was a wire. That kind of proves the point. This one luckily came with a new float. All this, look, this spring actually is nice and smooth and works. So I got that. This is the first layer of defense from a fuel filter. So this just makes sure no big particles get pulled through into the fuel pump. I've already started to clean it with just some brake clean, but I'm gonna give it a bath in this. I actually got some stuff in here right now I'm gonna clean up. Yeah, that's actually getting a bit cleaner. So this stuff is awesome. You basically drop things in it for anywhere from like 20 minutes to 4 hours. You're not supposed to leave stuff in for too long because apparently it can do some damage to certain metals and certain plastics. But it does a pretty good job of just soaking things and cleaning it up. So I could have bought a new one of these, and the reason I didn't is because this is like 120 bucks. And then this is like, I think I found for like 125, but was backordered everywhere. And by the time you add all that together, plus a new pump, which is $150, and a bunch of other bits and bobs, this ends up being like $500 to replace a bunch of stock parts that I will eventually get rid of and replace with a proper fuel cell and a proper fueling system. So right now, I just have all this to get this back together. This ended up costing me like $150 for the tank. It would have cost me like 200 or so to clean this one, and I was still gonna be missing a bunch of parts. So yeah, it's pretty simple. I'm gonna drop that in real quick, bolt it down. I'm still missing some of the adapters I need to make a fuel pump fit, but I'll get that sorted. These unfortunately were cut, and mine were completely rotted. So I gotta kind of refigure out my fuel lines real quick. I'm sure I've got something around the shop that will make do. And yeah, enjoy the time lapse. Well, certainly came out easier than it went back in. But tank's back in. I ran all the lines for this. I need to still bolt that in, but waiting on a pump, which is hopefully here in a day or so I can put that in. And now I'm just gonna set up all the lines underneath. This, if you remember, was a really rusted piece of metal that looked like it was at the bottom of the sea for a decade. Didn't do a great job of cleaning it up. Hit it with some rust out, but whatever. It won't be on for long, it'll just be on for now. Got a new fuel filter, throw that in now. Try to get all the hoses and everything set up so once the pump comes in, it's almost ready to start. We interrupt my Carcaine Rehab episode for an update on Ashley's Carcaine Rehab. How you doing under there, Ash?
I'm good.
I think you finally have all the parts to put the front of this car back together.
I do.
You think you're gonna get it on its wheels by the end of the night?
I don't want to jinx it, I'm not gonna say.
So Ash, you actually have some really nice new parts going back in here.
The Elephant Racing
These look really nice.
bushings and these.
When you also did a rebuild kit for these, right? And then these replaced the old rubber control arm bushings.
Which look like
Nice little, was it a spherical? This thing's gonna ride tough. So this piece right here, which holds in the back of the control arm, is replacing this, which is the stock unit. We actually got stock ones, and there was kind of too much tolerance. There wasn't enough, I should say there was, yeah, too much tolerance. Not enough tolerance. The tolerance sucked, how about that? And the Elephant ones just were a lot nicer, so we upgraded to those. As you can see, actually just took out the subframe and is putting this one back in with these little spacers in here. And that's to allow for the LS to sit properly inside the car. So look, even Ashley keeps a book. Actually, I'll be honest, I learned keeping a book from her. You can keep all the important things you need to know as you're working on your car, and especially when you stop working on your car for, 10 years or so, at least you can go back and find things like the torque specs. Any organization I have, I learned it from her. How's it going in there?
Okay.
So you got the control arms done, both sides. Got this done. So you're gonna get working on the Audi by the end of the night, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna have all your cars running. Probably not.
Nice work, babe. Alright, your rate of speed is scaring me because you're getting way further ahead on this than I am on my own car. You know why you get so much work done? Because you don't talk much to camera. I spend a lot of time, like all I do is talk to camera and then I get no work done.
You do talk a lot.
She loves me.
So basically the mount for the coilover is hitting the knuckle in a way that it won't allow the holes to line up. So I kind of had to take the grinder and grind this down a bit on the inside of the knuckle so that there's space for the coilover to slide on.
The proof that bolt-on parts are never just bolt-on. Tucked. I think the coils are too far down. You're tucking fender and the fender has been cut out. Considering that the flare would come to like here. Sure, that works. Does the jack pull out? Well, congratulations. The car is officially on the floor.
That is exciting.
Right? That's it. We're going home. It's late. All right, new day, new parts. Hopefully I've got what it needs today to get it done. So first up, I went and got some new fittings. This is the original line that comes out. So this is the high pressure line that comes from the pump out of the tank and to the fuel filter. Since it was cut and it was pretty badly damaged, I had to go figure out something else. So I ended up getting a AN fitting that I'm gonna switch out for this. And I'm gonna run a line from there to a 90, switched over to an AN fitting on the fuel filter. Then There was a bunch of kind of repairs done on this fuel line. It looks like it had bursted at some point, so I'm just gonna clean that up. Just grab some barb couplers, some unions to kind of fix that. Some new hardware, all nickel and dime stuff that ends up costing like over $100. But most importantly, 034 sent me a piece that I need because the actual fuel pump for the car seems to be sold out throughout all of America. It's one thing that sucks about building a car there's only 1,700 of. Everywhere I've searched for it, everyone's saying it's 3 weeks, and I know that you guys don't have 3 weeks to wait for another Audi update. So this is something 034 built a while ago. It's meant to take an 044 Bosch fuel pump, replace the factory fuel pump by creating this piece, which, as you can see, there's like little rubber mounts in there that hold this. It basically replaces the center cartridge so that you can factory install a much bigger fuel pump. Because the 044 pump has a built-in screen, I don't have to worry about replacing this, which was over $100 to get new, and I've been trying to get this thing to clean up and it just really won't clean up. So the pre-filter is actually built into this. You can see there's a pre-filter actually in there. So anyway, let's put this together. Got to take this apart, remove the centerpiece, switch over all the mounts into here, get that sorted, get the pump dumped in, and then put it in that thing. So I did a little bit of a dumb thing. When I unhooked all of this, I forgot to mark which one was my vent line and which one was my return line. And I've been struggling to figure it out. It doesn't really say inside the Bentley. Everyone I know in the Audi community has been like, I forget. I tried tracing the lines, but as you can see, there's a lot kind of going on in here. So what I did was I just popped the line off of the charcoal canister. Right, so this is that line, and put it to the air gun. I'm just gonna run some air through it and go in the back and see which one the air is coming out of. Then I know which one's my vent line, and then we can keep moving on. That's my vent line. That's my return line. Fuel lines underneath are done, set up. So we got our main feed line, we've got our return line here, and our vent line cleaned up and set up here. That's all ran. So time to put the fuel pump in, get going on that. Get closer to starting it, right, Will? You're gonna be here for when it starts.
I don't know. I only have one more tire to mount, so.
I don't think it's gonna happen that quickly. All right, so everything's installed now. Pump is in, lines are set up, all that's done. Now I just need to wire it. Actual harness that was on the original pump completely disintegrated from the fuel, so I'm gonna build a new one right now. And then get some fuel, reprime the engine, just do a double check, and start it. All right, so this is that moment where you should like just hit pause and vote. A, does it just start right up? B, does it blow up? C, not even crank. D, just instantly seize the engine because of whatever is going on in there. Who knows, there could be an entire cylinder full of water for all I know. Or it could crack the timing belt as soon as it starts. Bend a ton of valves because I didn't bother to change the timing belt, which is something I plan on doing after it starts. Or, you know, E, which would be none of the above or all of the above. I'm gonna pull the fuse real quick on the fuel pump, prime the engine a little bit, get some oil up in there, and then try to start it. Well, the hazard's on, that's a good sign, I guess. But that's the state it was left in the last time I had it. Man, this is like the first time I've actually seen this car do anything in 10 years. I haven't even tried to do anything. But look, some of the lights and things work. It's always a good start. I guess I should go find the key. Oh, the key's in it. Check real quick and see if I hear the fuel pump prime. Yep, fuel pump primed. So I primed it, dry cranked it a few times, get some oil in it. Seems to be turning over no problem. Now it's the real moment of truth. I think Hurt's still here too. Let me see if I can get him. Yo, Hurt, I'm gonna start my car. You wanna come give me a hand with the fire extinguisher just in case it's needed?
3 hours ago, I heard you say it's gonna start in 20 minutes.
Yeah, with that. But it's been 20 minutes.
Okay.
Yo, on the internet time is 20 minutes. There was a few time lapses.
Okay. Wow, you really...
I already primed it, it's ready to go.
About that life, huh? Despite what everyone thinks? Oh. Scotto's about that life. Look at this bad boy.
Between me and Vinny, I figured I'd try to get it started.
Oh my God, oh my God. Oh, you can't make this up, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot make this up. That's amazing. Oh my gosh, is this about to happen?
It's happening.
Oh my God. Oh. It's alive!
It like runs and instantly idles.
It's because you got those the 4 rings, man. This ain't no peasant car. Really surprised how smooth it's idling. That was the first start in 10 years?
Yeah.
Why did that seem so easy? Are you a slacker?
2 months going through this thing. Definitely doesn't sound great, but...
Do these always have valve tick? Do these have lifters? The lifter's probably gonna take a while
to get back.
Yeah, if they have lifters, then...
To run it again.
Yeah, you gotta let it run. Well, you think it'll stay on? Yeah.
Weird how that
made it run a little bit. How long for that part?
I don't know, but that's the end of this episode. It runs. That's a wrap!
When you bug out, you usually have a reason for the action. Sometimes you